Today what I'm going to talk about is this web document I created on Superglobals. And the reason I created it is Superglobals become depreciated. You're dealing with depreciated code. And if the code is depreciated, guess what? If you have a search engine or anything like that, yeah, it's not going to work. Okay? When the Superglobals change, it's going to make massive failure. All right. So anyway, that's why I did the other video on how to get two versions, you know, give you the basic documentation. So this is the documentation of the Superglobals. Um, as of PHP 5.3, what you see here in all these Superglobals is they're still working. I mean, this is what, not still working. What I mean is this is the Superglobals that they use. Okay, so these are the variables here, right there, you're going to have to use. Used to, you'd end up something like HTTP get variables, but now it's get. Used to be HTTP post variables, but now it's post. And so if you notice, all of them changed. Okay, so here you have the actual variables here that you want to use if you upgraded above 5.3. When I did that, everything failed. My search engine I wrote, everything is gone. Okay, so use the old one, you can use the old code. If you have image filtering programs, well, that's going to screw that up too. But your algorithms are not going to work. There's just a lot of things that can really screw you, excuse my language, when you upgrade a version. Okay, so you need to know these variables to write newer code and update your older version painstakingly. Okay, really painstakingly. And so these are the environable variables that are depreciated. Now let's look down at the tips. All right, these depreciated globals were used in earlier versions of PHP prior to 4.1. Stick with modern versions. They're faster, safer, and more widely supported. And that's another reason. So anyway, if you don't have two versions of XAMPP or two versions of PHP to make your old code work, then you're going to need to know this stuff right here. All right, so this is my basic little tutorial on the changes of Superglobal arrays. Okay, it's not to talk about what they're about what they are, how to do them, but they give you common uses right here in this here. So if you want to know the common uses, you can. The purpose here. Okay, this is for like cookies. You heard of cookies if you don't do any programming. Okay. Your HTTP post is for post data. Okay, in other words, like form data. Okay, sessions are like allows things to go from page to page when you're doing page to page. Okay, the cookie allows you to set and access cookies. All right, the request combines all these methods. In fact, the request is kind of neat right here because you have what's called an array where you can get all that information out in an array. And then your files is when you upload a file. When you upload a file in a form field, that will help you get the information on the file. Okay. And then you have the server, and then you have the environmental and the globals. Now, if you just use the server array by itself, then you're going to have key value pairs, and that's primary for diagnosing, hitting, as well as other neat little things if you ever work with that variable. And so anyway, that's the end of this video. Wish you a very good day, and just want to say thanks. If you like it, give me a thumbs up if you find it's helpful, because this is the whole purpose, is to help others and maybe a little bit to make my knowledge known. You take care and be blessed.